Before we get into the game though, I actually wanted to talk to you guys about, let me get this, hold up. You guys gonna see this. I think this might even go to YouTube. I wanted to talk to you guys about the new Sonic Racing game. Because it's looking very interesting, it's looking very cool. And I'm really excited about it now, actually. When they first announced this back at the Game Awards, I didn't make a video about it or anything. I might have mentioned in the stream at one point or another. But I did, I do remember posting on Blue Sky and Insta and sharing it on Discord. Because I really, when we saw the original teaser, right, it was this one right here, which is Shadow in the car, right? And I remember I was very, very disappointed because things were kind of pointing to a possible return to Sonic Riders, which I really, really, really like, not only aesthetically, but just gameplay-wise. Riders 1, the original, is such a cool game. I've actually been playing it a lot with a friend locally. I've been getting them to actually understand the game and stuff, so we compete, we play semi-competitively, it's pretty fun. Sonic Riders, the original, is a very fun, deep, interesting game with a lot of actual, genuine competitive potential. And I really like that about it. Beyond, I just think boards are just a very Sonic thing to do. You know, these hoverboards type of thing. They're so over the top, and it's a little bit corny, but it's just freaking awesome, dude. It's just freaking awesome. Just unabashedly trying to be cool, and I appreciate that a lot in Sonic stuff. So initially, I was a bit disappointed about the cars, because to me, it felt like they were just trying to do Mario Kart again. The Sega All-Stars racing games, they were pretty good, but I feel like overall, just the idea of putting Sonic in a kart racer always felt a bit misguided to me. It felt like part of the whole let's make Sonic like Mario sort of movement that I never really appreciated all that much. In the All-Stars game, I kind of I guess I tolerate. I don't know if tolerate is the right word. I accepted it a bit more because those were crossover games. The whole point is making a goofy little kart racer with lots of different characters from different games, and one of the characters was literally a freaking Daytona car, I think. Was it the freaking... There was someone who drove in a Daytona cabinet, I think, or an Outrun cabinet or something as their car, and it was freaking awesome. So that's the kind of thing you can do with cars that I think is cool. But if you're gonna do specifically Sonic, I always felt the idea of doing just cars was a bit weird. Yeah, exactly. But I saw the gameplay now, and I think this trailer looks genuinely just really, really solid. It looks really, really, really cool. To me, this shows the continued sort of because this doesn't look like the duct tape together in the same way something like Frontiers was, right? And I'm seeing this sort of not even attention to detail only, because look at the freaking ads here in the background too, the airboard, visit Chaos Island stuff. There's a nice little, I don't know if attention to detail is the right word. It's just when you look at the intro right here in the trailer, beyond, we're gonna talk about the hoverboards in a second too, but the way things are just really well animated, and then I don't know if it's when they start racing, we see a little bit of the crowd also waving around, and it's freaking Sonic Forces avatars. It's great. I hear this shot, and you see there's freaking there's characters in the background stuff. This world feels alive in a way that Team Sonic Racing did not in any way. Team Sonic Racing, I feel is the epitome, because they took away the justification for doing a kart racer, which was cool little crossover, and they made a really dry, really basic Mario Kart clone on top of it. And it was peak mid to late 2010 Sonic, where he was just trying to do nothing and trying to be nothing. That game died on release. I actually never picked it up, but I've seen enough, to know that I didn't want to have it, to not care enough about the game to pick it up. But this looks like a genuine, almost love letter to not only the history of the Sonic series in general, but specifically, the Sonic racing games in the past, because on top of having the car stuff, I mentioned it before, you guys probably know about it already. Freaking hoverboards, man. They brought back the extreme gear. But yeah, it just look how flashy, and the freaking trick animations and stuff. They look so alive, dude. This looks like it's following on the footsteps of Shadow Generations, and this gimmick as well, I think is really, really interesting, of doing you change the course in the middle of the race, and it rewards the person who's at first place by giving them the chance to actually choose where you're going to go, which I think is a really interesting take to do. One thing that really annoyed me about the whole concept of putting Sonic in a car just because is that it didn't feel like it was trying to be anything beyond just a Mario Kart clone, right? And Sonic, to me, even when it's bad, I like Sonic to, even when it's it fails, like 06 fails. In all respects, it fails. I like Sonic trying to be cool, trying to be different, like attempting. I guess the easy way to describe it, just attempting something, being ambitious. Not only like I feel like ambition is a word fans throw around a lot, and I don't know if it's just purely chalked up to ambition, but you know you can kind of see in the amount of content, the way the game's presented. You know, I feel like Sonic during like the Forces era was just not trying to do anything. And like I want Sonic to show me something cool and let me know this is cool, right? This is awesome. And Sonic Riders to me felt like that. And I always felt like the racing games never really tried to be that. Even the transformed ones, they were more like fun and goofy, but never like, oh yeah, look at this really cool thing. And so I came in like when I saw the original teaser, I came in like thinking, oh, they're not trying to be cool again. Ugh. Okay, fine, I suppose. But now, like, I'm actually, like, I'm looking at this trailer, I'm seeing the CGI, right? I'm seeing these sick-ass animations. And now I'm not thinking, oh, they're not trying to be cool again. I'm thinking, oh, they're trying to prove that as Sonic in a car can be cool. And, like, that's awesome. That I really respect, honestly. And the fact that we're also getting the option to use the extreme gear from Sonic Riders, I really appreciate. There's actually a blurb. I don't know if we'll be able to find it. And we might be able to find it here in Tails' channel in one of the freaking, like, articles or whatever. But there was a description that came out for the game. I was talking about how the extreme gear, it actually plays different. We don't know the details. We saw this as well. This is cool, like all the items. The freaking gadgets, this seems really interesting. It reminds me of Sonic Free Riders, actually. But the interesting parts of Free Riders that we weren't really able to explore because the game played like ass. Where we can kind of like choose buffs and debuffs or like buffs actually, but buffs that, you know, take up slots and stuff for vehicles. That's gonna change how we play, and I think this is really interesting strategically. Like it adds a whole new layer of gameplay. And what I'm hoping and what I'm seeing from this trailer that I really like is that they follow on the footsteps of Riders. Here's some more stuff, more of a look into the gadget system. Is that they take a note from Riders and make it okay, a kart racer to some extent, sure, but make this an action game. Stand out from Mario Kart by making something that's more technical, an arcade racer that you can actually like compete in to some extent and is somewhat, you know, like skill based. Like it can actually like prove to my friends I'm better than them by playing better than them and actually winning. You know, you can introduce some randomness elements, like it's fine, but give me the option to play seriously. I feel like that goes a long way. And it fits Sonic way better because Sonic is all about building skill, right? The mainline Sonic games, they're all about like being better at, you know, reaction times and knowing the stage layouts and stuff. And I feel like if you can translate that into an actual racing game, that's the best possible idea you can have for like a Sonic racing game. Just follow that philosophy from the main games. Reward skillful play, make it more competitive, make it more arcadey, I guess. And that's also interesting because with as I was trying to say earlier, the extreme gear, right, it's back. We haven't seen much from it. All the previews and stuff, they don't have it. But it seems like it's gonna play like the extreme gear from the original Riders to some extent. We don't know the details. I'm trying to see if I can find... I don't think it's here. But they mentioned how it's a boost style gameplay. And we saw there's already a trick system in this game, which I think, again, looks really cool, really arcadey, rewards skillful and risky play, which I appreciate. But I'm wondering if we're gonna have exactly the same air system as Riders. I think if they do that, it could be really, really cool. I do wonder how the balancing is gonna pan out for it. But one hope I do have is that they make it more so like a game that has like options for playing however you want to play, like Smash Bros. You know, like Smash Bros can be a party game if you want. You can turn on items, you can go into all these crazy stages with all these random elements, and it's fun and it's cool too. But give me the option to turn that off. If for whatever reason the balancing ends up being really bad between the gears and the actual cars, let me pick a mode that's literally like extreme gear only or cars only. Let me choose to turn off items. Let me choose to turn off and on the gadget system too. If they do that, I do think there's genuine potential for like a cool competitive racing game here, and I would love to see more of that. There's even like a ranking system in the online, which again, if they do follow this sort of philosophy where they give us lots of options to make the game a little bit more competitive, a little bit more skill focused, I'm all for it, honestly. I feel like that's the best possible route they can take here. And from what we've seen, also Sage and Gigantocar, this is peak. Yeah, but yeah, beyond that, I want a cool action game that rewards skillful play, and I'm surprised. I'm genuinely surprised considering that initial teaser that seems to be kind of the direction they're taking, and I'm really, really excited about it. But yeah, enough Sonic, enough waffling. Let's actually play the video game.